Yeah, guys, finally the move that Orlando Pirates fans were waiting for. I would say they were waiting for because we've been saying it for a while that Relem Fokeng is set to leave Orlando Pirates. Yeah, it looks like it's happening. A team from Belgium finished second last season. Well, Union was playing in the Champions League. I think it won the league 2 years ago. It's also going to be in the Champions League this season. So it's not just a small team. Relem Fokeng is going there, 21-year-old Orlando Pirates midfielder. And Bafana Bafana, obvious, international, is finally leaving South Africa. As we said in the last episode, that from what I get at, he will never play for Pirates again or anytime soon because he's going to Europe. And the other player that I'm expecting him to follow really very quick, it's Oswina Police. As I've been saying it in the previous episodes, both of them are going to leave Orlando Pirates because I think their time in South Africa is up. European leagues saw them when they won the league, or they've been monitoring them throughout the season. They feel like they've been impressed with them. 1010, I'm not sure what's your take about that. How do you feel about the fact that, of course, 1010, let me just be clear, we're not soccer beat, so we're not spreading rumors here. What's happening is that there's a journalist from Belgium who posted a story yesterday that Relem Fokeng is set to go and sign a contract. It's not going to come back with Bafana Bafana. It's going to go straight to Belgium to sign a 4-year deal with Royal Union. Yes, we know it's true. It's a true story. It's not a lie. Simply because people that I trust, they've also confirmed the story. That's why I feel it is a true story. Orlando Pirates are yet to officially confirm. And I've heard it before. Anyways, I knew. It's just that I didn't want to upset certain people. Not that I have to make people happy, but other people, they tell you story in confidence that this player is leaving. Please don't share it. Just like I was told that Police is also leaving. I mustn't share it to the team or wherever it's going to. But the fact is, this deal was done before the World Cup. From what I get at, it was concluded way before the World Cup. That's why I said even the game, by that game when Pirates played Orbit College, when they won the league, that was his, you can even see how he was looking at the fans. It was done. When Pumikoza went to console him, that emotion of winning the league, that deal was already done. Pirates have already sold him to Belgium. I wasn't sure which league, but now it's clear that it's Belgium. What do you think about the move 1010? Do you think it's a good move for Relay at this age?
Sure, Nadim, and to the viewers, man. Man, I always say it's a good move. Whether would be going to a team that is finishing number 5 or 6, as long as it's in Europe, I kind of feel it's good for South African individuals that are playing football. You know, we've had a lot of good players playing at Belgium. I think the late Oanele Ngoma is one of the players that went on and played that side, and he enjoyed. A lot of people did not know of Wanelengong until he came back with the Bafana setup. So Belgium, it's one of the good countries, I think so. Andy Lejali also left to go and play that side. So for me now, it's a good move, it's a good deal, and it's going to change Urile's life. You know, we know how much of his dad have been singing and wanting for him to go. I think he's at the right age. Simbonile Nabu World Cup. I think let's allow the boy to go and spread his wings to finally meet new challenges, you know, new competitors, compete for different things. Because he has won everything, like South Africa. He's won the league at his age, has won the MTN 8 repetitively, the Telkom, the Carling Black Label. There's nothing more apart from the Champions League here in Africa. So let's allow the boy to go and explore outside. It's a good move for him financially, emotionally, so that he can also grow and become a better man. Because once you are stagnant in one place, it blocks the route for growth.
Yeah, and also I agree. Belgian league is not a bad league. It's one of those league that one will say is in the top 15 in the world. And most of the team, it's a good league. Most of the players the African players, they start in Belgium before moving to the big leagues in Europe, like the Premier League or La Liga or Spanish. So I think strategically, is a very, very good move for him. Do you think he's gonna cope with it? Do you think he will display the same performance that was displaying in the PSL? Because in the PSL, he was simply the best player. How far do you think he's gonna, like, what are you expecting? Do you expect him to be a key player immediately or to maybe sit on the bench and adjust the first season? Like, as a former player, how do you feel it's gonna fit there? Obviously, I'm not saying but looking at the Belgium league, looking at the release quality, do you think it's gonna just needs some time in adapting.
Honestly, Nadim, I think a quality guy really, anything is possible. He can just join the league and fit in immediately. But with the European standards, I don't see Orele going there and instantly playing because I've realized that in most cases, I'm a player when they move from one country to a different country, they also need time to adjust, to adapt to the culture, how things are done. And it's a good thing about he's moving or he's going to be moving and it's preseason. He can learn of the culture, learn and understand how does the Belgian league work, get to watch the videos, understand the competition that is going to be facing. But quality yakhe and his age, I think there's a huge room for growth. They're going to start him gradually. They wouldn't just want to throw him in the deep end. And I think they're going to build him, you know. But because of equality and where he's playing already, he's an international. Whether we like it or not, he has to get there and perform immediately. But as long as they will give him time to understand and adjust to the league, the system, the culture, because he'll be moving away from South Africa, where else he's going to open up a new chapter of his life, needs to understand the country, the policies, how the people functions, how to interact, language, nazo zonke lezo zinto. So I wouldn't want to rush him. Mina, I feel ukuthi they must just introduce him to the system gradually. And then eventually he's going to be a key player for the team. And probably top leagues will be also eyeing that side because I think they have a good intel when it comes to going and scouting players from Belgium, Sweden. There's a lot of players who leave those places and go and play in Spain, like in the top leagues, in the top 5 leagues.
Yeah, it's a very good feeder league for top European teams. And the Belgian league, we've seen a lot of players, even South African players like Laila Foster. He also played the Pesitao when the Andile Jali. He also played the Ostende before coming back to Sundowns when he left Orlando Pirates. So you feel that is not really the gap between the Belgian league and the PSL is not that much. So I think he will cope. If you look at Relem Fokeng's qualities, is a player who's very good, excellent vision and playmaking. You feel is very good at dribbling, long range shooting and high pressing. Those kind of qualities is a very. I've seen players. One will say even the quality they were a bit below really from different countries who made it in. Honestly speaking, and also that's the move where you have to give credit to Orlando Pirates once the move is completed, obviously, because now as we speak, the move is not officially completed, but obviously it's gonna be done, subject to all those things that he has to do medical and all those kind of things. It's happening. But I'm just saying you have to give credit to Orlando Pirates for releasing him because there have been stories 10-10 like Lihlaku. I heard it from Mark Haskins that Sundowns rejected an offer for him. And we also heard from Teboho Mokwena's agent that Sundowns this year rejected 3 offers for Mokoena to go to Europe. But if you look at Pirates, they released Nkota last season, they released Mbogazi, and now Relem Fokeng. And if you look at those 3 players, 10-10, it looks like those are really talented players. What we talk about Pirates, what does it look? Why a team like Pirates, it's easy for them to release players, and the team like Sundowns, they want to hold on to their players. Pero has to force his move when he leaves Sundowns. No, he tried to be on strike. He was denied the move. Peter Shaulile, the same. Tlaku, the same. What's the story there? What will talk about Pirates releasing their best players? Because some people end up questioning their motive. Do Pirates want to win the league? Are they serious about competing if they are releasing their best players? Okay, Sundowns keep their best players because they want to dominate. What's your reading between the two teams' ambitions?
To be honest, I think for me, it's just within my opinion. Orlando Pirates does not mind releasing players, but they do it when they already have a replacement for a certain individual. They don't just act abruptly when there's money coming, they get excited. It's not about that. In most cases, and having had listened to Orlando Pirates management speak, even when I was there, they will tell you the deal shouldn't only be lucrative or look as if like it's good for the team, but it's not good for the individual. Sometimes that's why they prolong these deals, they push them back because they don't feel it's a right deal for a particular individual. But once they feel both parties are going to be happy, they allow, and they know already they probably have scouted a replacement for whoever that they're going to allow to go. And when it comes to Sundowns, I wouldn't really know much, but it has become history, when it comes to them, of saying they refuse for their players to just leave. Players need to force their way out. I don't know what's behind that, but I kind of feel Uguti, maybe players should now start including the buyout clause into their contracts, so that even if the team does not want for an individual to leave, but if the team really, really wants you, they just have to trigger that clause, and then there won't be any fight or arguments. We saw how it happened with Kaizer Chiefs and McCarthy. That what happens. Once there's a release clause, there's no arguments, there's no fights that are going to take place. A team can just trigger it and then take the player that they want.
Yeah, I think the buyout clause 10-10 is a very good point. It's needed in the Premier Soccer League because, especially for a team like Sundowns, I feel Bafana Bafana, in order to compete, we need that kind of players playing in bigger leagues in Europe. We're yet to see any team doing well in this World Cup without players playing in Europe. Even Cameroon, Morocco yesterday, we say they beat, or in the morning, they beat Netherlands, a team that so many people who claim that they've odds, the statisticians, they were saying statistically, all the bookmakers, some of them, they were saying Netherlands is going to win the World Cup. Now we know they are not going to win the World Cup because they're out. There's a guy from Germany who predicted the last 3 World Cups. He said this year, Netherlands is going to win the World Cup. So for Bafana Bafana to be competitive, you can always insult the coach, insult everyone that want to insult. But the fact is we don't have players who are competing at a higher level. Bafana Bafana will never be dominant with PSL players in international level. It just doesn't happen. It's never going to happen. Just like Bafana Bafana lost against Canada. Most of the players in Canada were playing in Europe. Guys like Alfonso Davies immediately come in, he changed everything. Jonathan David, he plays for Juventus, one of the top 10 clubs in the world. So I feel it's a good move for Orlando Pirates to do that. It's a bad move for Pirates to frustrate players like that because we said it, there is no team in South Africa that pays players well enough that if they retire, they will still be fine. Even in Sundowns. Then Klete have said it, you 10-10, you've said it in the last episode. So many ex-players in the PSL have said it, that it is no team. Even some Sundowns players have said it public, that there is no team in South Africa that pays their players enough, that after retirement, they can live off from those sticks. So all this nonsense of saying players don't save money, it's a lie. So that's how it is. So yeah, 10-10. As we wrap, what's your take about that one? Because the story here, we're trying to talk about Relem Fokeng. Obviously, we're wishing him well. I personally wish him well on his move because his father now is going to leave South Africa. Yeah, there's an interesting thing, 10-10, about Rile's father. Rile's father, when Rile grew up as in for Ratom, immediately he saw Rile that is talented enough. He's now playing for Pirates. He changed Rile's surname to Mfokeng. So, and then once you change his name, you see, let's say you have a child that you don't even care about. Now you see that the child is talented. You change the child, and then you change the child to Mfokeng. Some people that told me, obviously, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not saying it on record. He was no longer even with the mother. The mother was the one who was raising Rile. He actually retained the relationship. So the good thing about this Chaba now is Chaba, you did well by changing the poem Mfokeng, and now is carrying them. Mfokeng's name is going to Europe. Yeah, it is what it is, 10-10. Yeah. Do you have a son, 10-10? I don't know. Can you do what Chaba did?
Nadim, I don't know whether you're correct or not, but I think it's every father's dream, and to see their son carrying the family clan name, So whether it happened because of Inani, I don't know that, but I also kind of feel if the family did not see the need for it happening, it wouldn't have happened, because now both families have to sit down and talk about this. So they saw it right when it happens. In most cases, iyenzeka within reason, People don't just go and change to become uMahlangu. At the end of the day, iyayenzeka lento leyo ukuthi uthole umfana kumele ahambe ayothatha isibongo sakubo babakhe. Yes, bekangekho, maybe when there was a separation between the both parents, or bekeseyakhona, but it was not caused by him. And if they decide ukuthi they can rekindle the situation for the betterment of the child, so why not? Naye Urile took on the surname and it did not affect him or whatsoever, because I don't think it has that much implications. you know. As long as an individual can continue doing good, and it's just a change of surnames, whether you believe it in it traditionally or whatever the case may be, man. It Begekhula as uMofokeng, and he's still growing as uRatomo, and he's still growing as uMofokeng. As long as both parties and the boy allowed, I don't see anything wrong with that. Kumele vele yenzeke. Njengoba basho bathi umntana wakubo baba Nadim. You can run away from it, but at the end of the day,
Not definitely 1010. There's no way belong to mama or baba. I mean, the only woman who once gave birth to a child without a man, it happens 3,000 years ago in Israel, and the child was called Jesus. That is the only child that was born without a man. The fact ukuthi he was far from Rile's life. Nakaqala kudlala Pirates, uyasondeza, utshentsha neyibongo. Because even if you can go to Instagram, Rile still call himself Ratomo. Rebohile Ratomo. Then Mfokeng. I just love the story. But even the Grand Kekana, there was a story where his mother said that on SAFM. He encouraged men that Grand Kekana's mother, that men must be there for, especially for their sons, even their daughters, because you never know how the child will turn out when it's old. You don't want to be like Chaba and Fokeng, then now you change names immediately. You see the child on TV, then you want to repair the relationship. As we rep 1010, what's your take about Morocco? Can they win the World Cup? Because it looks like, remember, last time they won, they reached the semi-final. Now they just beat a team that people were saying is favorite. Do you think Morocco can win the World Cup? Their next game is gonna be Canada. Obviously, I believe they will beat. I believe Morocco already in the semi-final. I believe they will beat Canada.
yeah, Nadim, it's not going to be an easy one, you know. Let's just say congratulations. We await for the news to happen when the Orlando Pirates announce the move, you know, only as it's rumors or manje. Until then, they announce, but we'll say congratulations in advance. And when we go back to the World Cup stage, Nadim, it's not going to be an easy one. I did not see. I hear you. You say the guy has been predicting a World Cup since the 3 previous World Cup, and he's been correct. But if he had predicted ukuthi Netherlands are winning the World Cup, then he must have smoked something very strong. Netherlands have been struggling. I don't think ukuthi they were in a position where they could compete to win the World Cup. It's just unfortunate ukuthi now they were knocked out in the last 32. They did not even make it to the last 16. But Morocco is strong. Even in the previous World Cup, I think it knocked the Netherlands out, and they are doing it again. It's not a mistake. They are where they are because they want to compete against the rest of the world. But I don't think they are there yet to can conquer and win the World Cup. There's a huge possibility they can go again to the semifinals. They've got the quality, they've got the personnel to push them further. And we saw how their team plays. They fight till the end. Even yesterday, they had to come back at the last end to equalize and finally go on and win on penalties. They have that never say die attitude, you know. They've been one of the best performing countries in Africa. We have to give it to them. For the longest time, they've been consistent in doing so. So they deserve it. I rally behind them, but I don't think they can go all the way to win the World Cup. Not yet. Maybe to compete still in and around the top 4, because I kind of feel good this year's World Cup, the stress is going to really start when it's top 8. Even in the top 16, there's still countries where we feel good. Oh, they are there, but we don't see them progressing to the last 8. So in Morocco, for me, I see them going to the last 8 because they have a far better quality than Canada. But anything is possible. Canada can pull up and come up with a surprise. But I see Morocco going through past the Canada so easy.
Yeah, indeed, 1010. No, thank you so much, 1010. Let's leave it there. Relem Fokeng, obvious 1010 is right when he says, let's wait for Pirates before we fully congratulate you for that move. Obviously, if it's eventually finalized. But as Chaba, also congratulations for changing Rile's name to Mfokeng. Now Mfokeng is going to be international. As a player, you were playing in the APC Motsepe. You're not good enough. Obviously, you didn't get a chance to play in the PSL. Now your son is playing in the World Cup. He's going to play in Europe, playing in the Champions League. Well done, Chaba, for doing that. For Morocco, well done, Morocco, reaching the last 16. I differ with 10-10 there. I think Morocco is good enough to win the World Cup. I saw how they nearly beat Brazil this tournament. In the last World Cup, they eliminated, I think, Spain. They beat Portugal. They beat Belgium. No, this team is scary, guys. This Moroccan team is scary. I don't know if there's a team that can beat them over 90 minutes. Just like I've been saying the same thing about Spain. Morocco and Spain are almost similar. It's gonna be interesting. This Moroccan team is very dangerous. And okay, guys, we'll come back again. See us, catch us. Continue subscribing, joining us as members, and sharing our content. Thank you so much, guys.